There we go. Morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Graybirds. My name's Wayne. To my this side over here, good friend Bug. Happy Easter,
Hey,
sir.
good morning. Happy Easter. Happy Resurrection Day.
Yes, happy Resurrection Day.
Yeah.
We
Here
were sitting
come
there
Peter
watching.
Cottontail.
Yeah, so I
Hopping
did the,
down the bunny trail.
you know, so I wanted to watch the Ten Commandments, the original. I don't know if it was 56, maybe 1956. It come
Yeah,
out.
Rock 56, man.
Yeah,
One of my
yeah.
favorite movies, man. And when I got reacquainted with you over in Absent, I was like, this guy have a striking resemblance to Moses.
No, no, no.
Not
I cut
now.
my hair
Not
back
now.
short.
Not that version right there. The other one, the one with the bushy beard
Yeah, I cut my
and
hair back short,
the cat was like, "Woe unto you, ITA employees."
That's not true. Don't believe that, not for a second.
It's funny, man. We have a lot of fun in the office as we do what we do.
We do.
And
Um,
that's why we did. That's why we made this show. I was like, man, this could be entertaining for some.
no, I
And
think, I mean, it is. We've been doing this for almost 10 months.
I know, I know. That's
And
good. It's good that we've been able to sustain this thing. I think we only missed maybe one or two
yeah, there was,
recordings because we was out of
yeah,
town or something. Yeah,
yeah,
but other
we
than
pretty
that, man, it's
much
been
did
good.
it every week. Yeah. I did
Yeah.
I did my first short on there. Everybody check it out. It's on there. Um, and it was a crazy. It did like 1,500, 14 or 1,500 um, views,
Views? Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. I
nobody
mean, it
liked
went
no,
viral.
but nobody liked it. All it was me showing out front of the trailer some stuff we did for the landscaping stuff, right? And
Hey,
it was,
folks want
and
to see that. This is the season, man. This is the season to be doing that stuff, and you
I
were
guess, yeah. But
actually
then,
doing it.
and then I did something else I'd had on there for a long time was a little montage of my dog and some other stuff with my dog.
Hmm.
And that still went like 400 or three or 400 views or something. It
Yeah.
was crazy. But anyways, I
Yeah.
digress. Happy Easter, everyone. I hope everybody is spending how they're spending their day today, remembering our Lord and Savior. Like today, well, today we have plans to go and visit our good friends here in South Carolina. I call them my southern brother and sister. Um,
Hmm.
I used to do yards with him. He took me under his wing, shot and you know showed me his craft as how to do lot. How I don't know. We always say do yards, right? That's what I always say. Do yards. We go do
Southern
yards.
lingo,
Yeah,
doing
but
yards,
what is actually the craft of that? Is it
lawn maintenance,
well,
or
sure.
landscaping. This could be an aspect of it, but really it's maintenance. I mean, unless you're building or doing like flower beds, it's pretty much you're doing maintenance to the yard. You're
Hmm.
restoring order.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You're
yeah.
taming the jungle.
But he showed me kind of the craft. He took me under his wing, and I did that for like 6 years. But we're going over to their house today for Easter dinner,
Awesome.
and I don't know. I think today's topic is what was your our family's typical Easter Sunday tradition? Uh,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
my family's not wasn't overly religious person. We didn't go to church on a regular basis. We did go to church
Mhm.
at times. Um, my grandfather was more religious, very
You told me about him, man. I wish I would have had a chance to speak with him.
yeah.
You mentioned him on occasions and how
Oh
he was a
yeah,
staple, you know what I'm saying,
and
for his
always had
worshiping
a he
God.
always he was always reading his Bible. He had his Bible. I'm gonna try to get it. I don't know. I'm gonna see. Um, my sisters may want it. I want to get his Bible. I remember looking at it the day he passed, or not the day he passed, day after he died. We had found his Bible, and he had highlight. He had all these little markers in his Bible, right? All these little.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
and it was kind of chilling because he had said, he felt that he had been forsaken. Unfortunately,
Mm.
he was questioning why, because he had what had happened. He had a stroke,
Hmm.
and we didn't really think much. It happens. In life. He had a stroke.
Yeah.
It affected him some, but after he had passed, we had looked in his Bible, and it had he went in. He was doing very well,
Hmm.
recovering wise, but he was feeling well enough to go in, and he was going to have this surgery done in his. It was, I don't know. It's kind of a common thing to have done, I guess. Something to do with
Hmm.
your arteries here and blood
Right.
flow, and he said his was messed up somehow, and
Hmm.
they were supposed to go in and make some. It's not wasn't supposed to be an overly complicated surgery, but he
Hmm.
ended up having a massive stroke on that,
Man.
and
Yeah. The expectations, right? I'm gonna briefly say that a lot of folks that believe in Jesus, right, they have expectations, and reasonably so. You should have some expectations, but you got to remember those that really know, we're in a war, and whenever there's a war, there's going to be casualties. You know
mm,
what I'm saying? We're
oh
not
yeah,
gonna. The thing about the plan, you know what I'm saying, is for us to try to win as many souls to Jesus as possible before he come back and take over the planet. You know, so that seems like the Western view is, Jesus is going to prosper me. Jesus is going to make sure nothing happened to me and my kids, but that's not necessarily true. Some of us will benefit from that, some of us won't. As you know, the apostles, they all got, they were all killed. You know what I'm saying? They all died martyrs for the cross, and it's been that way through the ages. So don't be discouraged when your loved ones pass away. Something tragic happened in your life. I mean, it's part of it. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be
yeah.
casualties in this war. You know? And going back to your question about the traditions, right now, I'm gonna be honest, we wasn't a religious family. I mean, we believed in God, but we didn't go to church.
Right.
Except for Easter. We went on Easter, right? And I was terrified to go to church on Easter because I had to say an Easter speech. And my mom was like, and it depended on how old you were, that determined how long your speech was. So, I think I started doing that when I was 10. So mine was a couple paragraphs long.
Oh,
I was
really?
terrified of Easter. The day I should be happy that God's son was risen. I was actually terrified because I had to stand in front of the church and say the speech. You know what I'm saying? And there was some weeping and wailing going on because there was some kids that got up there that forgot their speech and their parents were standing beside them with a switch.
Oh
Like, you
man.
gotta say the speech. I'm like, oh my God, what manner of cruelty is this right here? So, but anyway, yeah, I was terrified of doing that. And then I like, I grew out of it. And my own personal tradition was watching Jesus movies on the day, the week of Easter, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Starting with the Ten Commandments, ending up with Jesus of Nazareth. That was my personal tradition. And my parents actually kind of adapted what I was doing as a young kid, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, let's watch what he's watching. He's watching some Jesus stuff, so maybe we should do that. You know what I'm
Heck yeah.
saying? So, mhm.
Well, yeah.
And then Easter egg type stuff too. We did that, you know,
Mm.
we indulged in.
My mom used to. I remember this was in the first house, and I lived in until we moved in when I was in fourth grade.
Hmm.
And she would hide stuff. She did such a good job, man. I tell you, we all painted eggs and you know,
That was fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
we always, we always tried to make it very colorful eggs, and we
yeah,
knew we learned about when you could, you know, take a crayon and write your name on it, you know,
yeah,
and then when you
yeah.
dyed it, it wouldn't get dye on that spot because you had your crayon on it. And as going
Mhm.
through the years, remembering, dyeing Easter eggs, right?
Right, right. Dang, that was cool. Did you guys actually eat the egg?
Oh yeah.
Did y'all
Mhm.
eat the Easter egg?
Oh yeah.
Really? I can't
Why would you
remember.
not?
I don't think I liked boiled eggs back then. So it was just for me who could find the most or who could find the most decorated egg. But I don't think I ate boiled eggs. It was no.
Yeah.
Now, then when we got into the chocolate ones, when we moved up the financial scale and
Yeah.
started getting the chocolate ones, now I indulged in those, and
Yeah.
I love some chocolate.
Mom used to, I always talk about being poor growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
And somehow my mom always did. She found a way, man. I tell you, I don't know how she did it. She never really shared how she did it.
Yeah,
I don't know if she got money from her dad, or
yeah.
but um, always found a way. If she did, she never shared that info. But we would get an Easter basket, right? She
Hmm.
wouldn't get new Easter basket. We always had an Easter basket, just like we always had Halloween,
Yeah.
pumpkin things, to get candy.
Hmm.
But we'd have her Easter baskets, and she would set them, and she'd get the little whatever, the little chocolate eggs, the little tiny ones,
Yeah.
that were
Yeah.
wrapped in foil, and Peeps, of course, the marshmallow used, and I don't know,
Yeah.
people love them.
Awesome,
I'm
man.
not, I could do without them.
Hey man, that's good, man. Your mom, I mean, she probably just
Yeah.
snatched away. You was telling me that your pops was on the road, he was sending money, and a portion of that money would probably go to stuff like that. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
Hey, I got to take a little bit out for the kids to have, sharing these activities. So she probably did that. That's
I don't
that's
know.
a good mom would do.
She
Hmm.
did. I don't. I say we were poor, but we weren't necessarily poor, like struggling, but we always had food to eat, and all that,
Hmm.
but that was pretty much our Easter tradition. Once in a while, and we would go to church. We didn't have to get up and um, say anything, you know. Yeah.
Well, hallelujah to you, because we did. In my culture, that was a big thing. You're gonna say a Easter speech.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a good thing, because then you're teaching your children to get up and face their
There are
fears and to
pros,
speak
there are
in front of
pros and
others,
cons, man.
Mhm.
Pros and cons, pros and cons. I mean, I wasn't thinking about it. Easter was apprehensive, okay? Because I
Oh
had to learn
yeah,
to speak. And what they say the most fear is public speaking, right? And
for
even the
some,
more
yeah.
fear that, yeah, for most, they say for most, public speaking is the most dreaded behavior you can do. So when you got like this little shotgun in the back of your head and say, go out there and talk to these people about Jesus.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But otherwise, when it was over, when my speech was over, man, I was like, yeah, let's get to the next. I can sit back and watch these bad boys.
Mm.
That's wrong. I can watch these cats do their thing. That's as much as I gotta say. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, and then the Easter egg hunt, and then you had it was always good food though. After Easter, after all that religious activity, it was
Well,
always something good.
yeah. So you did that. So what was your typical? What did you have for a meal?
But
What was
typically
your
we would have
typical?
like my favorite, and no, it's gonna sound some kind of way, but it was
Why would it sound some kind of way? What?
some fried chicken, baby.
So
I
that was
love
what
some
you would. We always
fried
seem to.
chicken. potato salad, um, maybe some greens, collard greens or something like that,
Mhm.
cornbread. One of those southern meals, you know what I'm saying? Well, it was delicious, whatever it was. It was
It
always
seems,
something of that nature.
it seems like we always had a ham of sort.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't recall having a ham. The hams definitely was Thanksgiving and Christmas for sure, but
You
Easter,
know, and I kind of
or
think
maybe
about
even
that.
some
I'm like,
barbecue.
that
Hmm.
doesn't make any sense because, a lot of people say you're not supposed to eat ham, pork, right?
Yeah. Why? I wonder why they say that though. What's the deal with that?
Well, it has something to do with you're not, the people have taken it out that you're not supposed to eat that the split toed
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, I get it. That was what was given to the nation of Israel, you know what I'm saying? And then Christians try to adapt that, even though God told them not to, they try to adapt those practices. It's
mm,
like, nah, you guys ain't supposed to adapt that. That was symbolism, symbolic of something else. I mean, the Bible clearly tells you what it's for. I just say it. It was just like, look, I'm just showing you a separation between the Jews and the Gentiles. But those days are gone, okay? You guys have become one body. I'm reconciling the two, you know what I'm
that
saying?
like an Old
So,
Testament, New Testament kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, it's one of those type situations. Old Testament, New Testament, where folks, I've been
Yeah.
slacking at my job, man. God done imparted the desire to learn these things, and I should be sharing this information. You know what I'm saying? So sooner or later, you're gonna see me do it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can get together and just talk, go through this stuff. It's really intriguing, man. I mean, if I'm gonna cheat on whatever I'm gonna cheat on, it's gonna be doing that. If you happen to peek over my shoulder at work, you're
I do
probably
a
gonna see
lot.
me doing
I do a
something
lot
with
of that peeking that. I was like, hey, I have a question for you. You're deep
it.
in research. We'll go with that word.
Yeah, I'm doing my thing, man. And I genuinely like doing it. Now, I mean, it's just so much stuff involved with it. Even this day, it's a lot, man. It's a great day. It's a great day. And for me, it's just like, man, Bob Healy told me this one time. You probably remember. He says, "Sharp, man, you see the good in mugs. That's your problem."
Mhm.
And I do. You know what I'm saying? No matter how bad, well, I can't say that. There's maybe a few, but most people, I look at the good qualities, right? You know what I'm saying? I look at Wayne, I'm like, this cat here, he has a unique ability to get his point across. Yeah, I mean, you straight shooter. I'm not a straight shooter at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pour some sugar on it, no matter how bad it is. You're gonna die in 4 days. This is the way I see it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not
Me,
that.
I'm like, well, he could
I'm
live.
not as bad. I am as I am. You're right. 100% because I consider myself a realist, and I'm going to tell you the
Yeah,
truth.
yeah,
If it's gonna, I've jeopardized more friendships because I will tell them people the truth instead of sugarcoating stuff.
yeah. Once people
Or
know that you're not trying to be cruel, you know what I'm saying, then they can, I've sat back and watched you long enough to know 90% of the time you're not trying to be cruel. You're just saying what it is. You know what I'm saying? There may be a little time when you might want to stick it to somebody. Yeah, you need to hear this
mm,
truth. And I know how it's gonna make you feel.
but
But most of the
I don't.
time,
Well, I think the biggest thing is I don't do it at it because I'm glad to do that to see someone.
right,
I want them to succeed always, but
yeah, right,
when they're failing, someone needs to tell us, "Dude, you're messing up." They're not gonna, you know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know why I feel compelled to tell people that, but it's
I
you
like
know
it though. It's fun. The circle that I hang out with, my people that I would consider in my circle are straight shooters. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? They're gonna tell me the truth, and I value that. I'm like, okay, I don't want to necessarily go to Wayne because he's gonna tell me the truth, but I need to hear the truth. So that's why if I ask you something, I'm down to, okay, I done talked to everybody that's gonna make me feel good. Now I need to hear the truth. So I come to you. Wayne,
Yeah.
what it is? Dude, you
How
got
do I
7 hours.
fix this? I
Hey, that's good quality, man. Don't lose it. But
don't
me,
know.
I'm that guy where death is imminent, but I'm gonna make you feel like you might live a little bit longer. I'm gonna find some silver lining in this bad situation. Well,
Oh
you could
yeah.
have lost both arms. You know what I'm saying? You still got one left. You know what I'm saying? You could have lost both legs. You still got one. You know what I'm saying? When you got non-aggressive tires on your car, I'm gonna say they're shiny.
Not what I said. I said
Hey, hey, they're shiny.
I prefer a more aggressive tread. Stop misquoting me. If you're gonna quote me, don't misquote
And that wasn't a quote, that was a paraphrase. You know what I'm saying? It was a paraphrase. I'm not
me.
quoting you. Don't cite. I'm not citing you. I'm
Yeah.
paraphrasing this thing. But it was funny as heck. You know, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. I think God appreciates straight shooters, and He probably appreciate those guys that pour a little sugar on it too. But I appreciate the straight shooter. The most, like I
Yeah.
said, the guys I deal with, they're straight shooters. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be tough, man. Sometimes everyone's got to give you that tough love. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I wouldn't tell you if I didn't care.
Did
I just
you
would have said that to you.
yeah. So did you go to any relatives over the Easter on Easter? Or did you guys
No,
spend
man,
it
I
at
was
home?
normally, the relatives, because my grandmother lived here, all the relatives we was fortunate enough we didn't have to travel. Everybody came to us.
Hmm.
So we would have my relatives from New York, from Miami, in various parts of Georgia. They would all come home for that holiday, that tradition, and have a good time. And then they would go back home. You know what I'm saying? And it was always good seeing your cousins and stuff like that,
Oh
eating
yeah.
good food and all this good stuff, man. It was a great time. Great traditions, man. Well, I think our generation, a lot of us are losing that, man. It was good to hear that your family came home, your daughter came home, you know what I'm saying, came to see you. But with me being in South Carolina, um, things have changed somewhat. I don't know if Peaches is not really an Easter type person. Now we'll get on the phone and talk for hours about God, the resurrection. But for us doing a dinner, get together, now that tradition is kind of stopped. You know what I'm saying? Once my grandparents went to the great beyond,
Hmm.
that tradition stopped, became more of a localized thing with each family. Folks ain't traveling like they used to. So,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's good.
We never did anything after. Never, I don't remember doing. I mean, we still had tradition, the traditional Easter. But once I was gone away, once I was away from the house and on my own,
Yeah,
I doubt they
yeah.
did anything. My parents
This
don't do.
military thing, well, you know what I'm saying? This is something else. It changed a lot of things for us.
Oh
A
yeah,
lot of sacrifices, a lot of times, a lot of things we couldn't be there for, you know what I'm saying? So that's
very
just
true.
Call of Duty, no pun intended.
Hmm.
A lot of times he was away, he was either in the desert or England or Fairchild or somewhere and just
Well, that's
missed
the
out on
thing.
all the
Yeah,
hmm?
it wasn't like you could just jump in the car. It's not like driving from, Columbia to
Yeah,
Charlotte. I was 1,200 miles away.
yeah, facts. Facts. Yeah. And your family missed you, you make a phone call and those things was valuable, just to hear from your family. So
And I think,
what we do in the military, we adapt. We made friends in the military and we did stuff. You know what I'm saying? You had your extended family. I remember being in England, doing a lot of
oh yeah.
stuff like that with my buddies over there, or Fairchild, or even a show. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
When I couldn't get home, I had to work because of the nature of our jobs. We a lot of times we had to work even if you was at your duty location, being a cop, they didn't care about that.
They
You know,
didn't give a crap. All right. I haven't seen the 10-minute warning yet for some reason.
Mm.
It should be coming up. Anyways, we've got about 10 minutes left, maybe. Maybe.
Let me get this out. I shared this with you offline, but
Mhm.
I've lost 22 pounds. Hey,
Yeah,
it's
for those that
still
are
doing it. 60 years old, believe it
for
or
those
not.
that are
You know what I'm saying?
following along, he's part of a weight loss challenge, and the goal was to lose 20, right?
The goal was 20. I did 21 and 4 ounces or something like that.
It's over
So
20,
yeah, I got
right?
over 20. And I'm not done. My next stop is I want to get down to 220, which is 6 pounds and 8 ounces or something like that. So I'll be down at 220, and when I get there, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep going again. I want to
Well,
get out of these 200.
what's the ultimate weight you want to get to?
Ultimate weight 195.
195?
Mm-hmm.
I would have so much skin. When I was down to 240,
Mm-hmm.
I had so much loose skin
Mm-hmm.
hanging out. It reminds me of that movie Men in Black when his wife looked at him and said, "Your skin is hanging off your face,
Hey, you know
or
what it
hanging off your
reminds me of?
bones, or something."
It reminds me of that scene. I think it was what was that movie where the dude he had fell in some acid and he was just walking around and then he got hit by a car.
Mm.
We was talking about that movie. Was it RoboCop? Is it a RoboCop or Batman? One of those two. The guy had fallen in this tank of some chemical and he was like,
Oh
"Help me."
yeah,
And then he got hit by a van or something.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So numbers are good. Things are good right now. And so, hey man,
That's
I hope you
awesome.
guys out there are stay blessed. And even when you think you're not blessed, you're blessed. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? You got it. Good.
that's the
Yeah.
problem. People think they should be, rolling like the Kardashians or something,
Hmm.
with all
Man,
this. And
I can remember being in England digging for change in my couch.
mm,
So me and the wife could buy egg roll. One singular gigantic egg roll. There's an egg roll place down the street from where we live. And man, financial irresponsibility was the norm.
yeah, I had a little stint of myself.
Yeah, yeah, it was poor.
So,
But
oh,
some kind of way.
there's the 10-minute thing.
All right. You see the image in the background, we got Jesus walking out the tomb. You know what I'm saying? Most people show him, standing at the door with his hands up. Yeah, I won. But he's like, I'm done with this. Back to what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like that. I like that image, man. I mean,
I don't see the whole image, so
I know you can't see.
I don't.
I did it wrong, but he's rolling out the door. I'm trying to get out your way.
No, I don't see anything other than his arm.
Yeah, that's his back, and he's heading out.
Is it his
I get
back?
it.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
his
yeah.
back.
Because the way
Yeah,
his thumbs are. Yeah, I got you.
yeah, yeah. So he's rolling, man. He's like, I'm out this month, and I'm finna exact vengeance upon those that did this to me.
I don't think he
I'm gonna
did
say
though.
this at this bit, man. When I got introduced to Jesus, right?
Hmm.
I was in dire straits. I was like, I got the revelation that I was gonna die, and I didn't. That was appalling to me. And so I told my grandma, Grandma, I don't want to die. She was like, I wanted her to enter into what I was feeling.
Hmm.
She did. She was like, you ain't gotta die.
Hmm.
What? So she got this gigantic book and dropped it on the couch. It bounced several times. And I just remember thumbing through it, right? And they had these oil paintings, right? Samson, David, these these heroes, right? And then there was Jesus. I'm like, well, what did he do? He's rubbing on a lamb. He's crucified. Somebody's beating. I'm like, I don't like this dude. I mean, what is this about? I mean, what's up with this? And this was the dude. You know what I'm saying? At the time, though, he didn't have that image. I'm like, nah, I don't. I want to be like Samson or David or Solomon or some of these other characters in the Bible. But this, I didn't get it. And it's the main dude, the one that they all bow down to. But as a child, I saw no glory in what he was doing or what was being depicted of him. Like he lost. He's the only one that lost in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So but as I began to read and understand, I'm like, oh, pretty bad cat. You know, all these bad boys pay homage to him, but that was me. Even like I say this here about my own biological father, man. He wasn't like my uncles. My uncles were brawlers. You know what I'm saying? I've seen them beat up people, and they were like John Wayne. Most of them, they had this reputation. I'm like, but pops, I've never seen you hit a man. You know what I'm saying? But that one thing he did do, the heavy lifting, man. He maintained the family, provided for us. He gave us a
Mm-hmm.
lot of wisdom, talked to us. The stuff that when I became a man, I began to unappreciate. You don't have to be beating up people, slapping people, and all this kind of stuff to be a man. A real man will protect his family. You know what I'm saying? Because if he's off the scene, he get killed or he go to jail or whatever. He can't be there to protect his family, to
Right.
guide his family, to lead his family. So I got a newfound respect. You know, my
Yeah.
dad told me, he said, son, one time you walked up to me, you said, Daddy, can you fight a lion? And he was like, heck no, boy, I can't fight no darn lion. And I said, Tarzan can. And then I ran off. It was like, because I was like, man, I was disappointed. You my pops, you can't fight a darn lion, but this dude can.
Yeah.
This dude, we just seen him dive in the water and wrestle an alligator. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I grew up on Tarzan. You guys, some of the younger folks, like, who the heck or what was that? But Wayne know what it is. Oh,
Yeah.
Tarzan was a bad dude back in the
Yeah,
day,
he
man. I
was.
like that
He
cat.
was. Yeah. He did quite a bit to
Fly.
I
Uh,
don't know. Some of that stuff was not where I was, where I needed it to
yeah,
be in life, when I think about it.
yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
What kind of stuff you talking about?
Well, they were misleading, right? Like Tarzan, right?
Man, I didn't know it was misleading.
Yeah, definitely misleading. Go to the jungle and try to swing through a tree, right?
Now that we're grown.
Huh? Ain't
Now that we're
happening.
adults, right?
Huh?
Like this dude is not gonna fight a lion, man. He's not
Right.
gonna dive in the fight some crocodiles, right?
Yeah, he ain't talking to the animals like Dr. Doolittle.
I know. But one dude that was real from my era was Jim from Mutual Omaha. Now I seen
Definitely.
Jim jump from a helicopter onto the back of a darn Cape Buffalo.
Yeah.
I was like,
Or
this is crazy.
Well, or I mean, and you got you got
Marlon Perkins,
Marlin
yeah.
up in
Hmm.
the helicopter, in his
Uh-huh.
bubble front helicopter.
Yeah. Man, that was so cool back in them days, man.
Yeah.
This is
I'm
the
just
most
saying there were,
dangerous.
these stories of everything in life in general, right?
Right.
People take that shit like I can do that. No, you
We,
are
we grew
not
up as
gonna.
kids.
Yeah,
We thought we could do it.
yeah.
You're
Just
absolutely right, man.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was fun to watch. It's entertaining, and saying that, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it wasn't an entertaining, and it should have been. It should have been more of realizing that it's just that
No, man, as a
entertaining.
child, you couldn't, there's no way you could have known that.
No,
You know what I'm
I,
saying?
but see, to me, I even to this day, this very second, I'm more worried about learning about mechanical things and how they work. I'm watching this play in the background, some guy working on a Ford as usual, um,
Hmm.
to get it to run, you know. So
Mhm.
there's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many.
Your analogy of the human body last week at work, you was like talking about, that's the way you see stuff in mechanical terms. You know what I'm saying? Okay, he's blood is coming out his whatever pump. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know,
We need
it's
to plumb
plumbing,
that.
electrical, plumbing and electrical, right?
Yeah,
Then you got, mechanisms, the muscles in your arms and your legs and how they
yeah,
work. And
yeah.
yeah,
You see things in mechanical terms, and that's good.
yeah,
Hmm. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. It's the problem. I was telling Bob I have I don't have a reading problem. I have a reading retention problem. Like I can
Mhm.
comprehend what I'm reading. I just can't retain what I just read.
Right.
It unless I'm really, really, really interested in it. So, but anyways, got about 2 minutes left. Happy Easter. Hope everybody's having a great time and enjoying the true and learning the true meaning of Easter and what it means, and not about just the chocolate bunny and eggs, you know.
Speech.
So,
Yeah, happy Easter. Great beard followers, watchers. You know what I'm
family,
saying? Great
friends,
family,
yeah,
friend, everybody. Y'all enjoy, man. Life is good. Enjoy it to the best
everything
of your
is
ability.
everything's better than you think it is, right? As bad as you think it may be, just remember there's gonna be worse, right?
It could
It
be
could be
worse.
worse. But anyways, happy Easter, everyone. Thank you, Bug, for being who you are, and I appreciate everything that you do for everybody. You're even though you're a source of entertainment most of the time, but God bless. Have a great one. Catch you on the
Appreciate it,
next one.
man. Hey, I like to entertain, man.
You are an entertainer. Take
Can't miss, baby. Like
care,
going for the
everyone. Happy
Wildcats, baby.
Easter.
Happy Easter.